Pursuing a global life and career has been the most fulfilling part of my life, but it comes at a cost that many do not foresee. I'm not talking about the impact on your career, which is usually net positive, but the changes such a lifestyle creates for your worldview, your identity, and relationships. In the next couple of videos, I switch from a strict business and career perspective to focusing on how a global life and career influence your self-reflection and perception, as well as the course of your personal life. In the first video of this mini-series, I share my own experiences and observations from living and working abroad across 7 countries for the past 11 years, how it challenged my worldview and belief systems and transformed my identity. Until we reach puberty, one's worldview is predominantly influenced by parents and other close family members. In the process of decoupling, one's worldview often changes, at least temporarily, through new external influences and points of orientation. Interestingly, although most believe with great conviction to be different from their parents, sooner or later, most end up following similar life paths. While this phenomenon has many origins, converging worldviews carry substantial weight in how people live their lives. Going abroad challenges many of your worldviews. Value systems you have been taken over from your parents, religious communities, or society might lose relevance for you or getting replaced by new ideas and concepts. My biggest learning has been the understanding that everything is always a matter of the 2 P's, perspective and perception. Where there's light, there's shadow. What looks like right from this side might look wrong from the other. Life happens in relative, never absolute terms. This reflection carries a consequence that belief systems and ideology based on binary thinking feel increasingly unsubstantiated. Ideological and religious belief systems that provided moral and practical guidance get challenged. On one side, this can feel like not being able to spot the North Star anymore when sailing across the ocean. On the other hand, it opens new possibility and choices to view the world, its people and dynamics through a different, more tolerant lens. Instead of navigating following strictly the North Star, you discovered several star constellations which act as orientation points in life. While I embrace this as an intellectual privilege of choice, it comes with the responsibility to turn those choices into decisions. The paradox of choice is surely not limited to a global life and career, but the latter does act as an amplifier. Changing worldviews do have a knock-on effect on your identity as well. Identity is a complex concept of self-comprehension and perception that includes many aspects, for example, your worldview. Many of these aspects are of ethnic, geographical, ideological, societal or occupational nature. Identity and a sense of belonging. Once they reach their late 20s or early 30s, most have developed a rather strong identity, for the better or the worse. Living and working globally adds many new layers to your identity. It feels like absorbing part of your host culture DNA into your own genetic information, creating a unique hybrid version of yourself. Another way to describe it is the red or blue pill scene from The Matrix. If the blue pill represents a choice of remaining in comfort but ignorance, the red pill stands for harsh truth and confronting reality through venturing into the real world. Obviously, the choice in real life is much less theoretical and dramatic than in Hollywood, but the essence remains valid nevertheless. While I see this as a true blessing and a privilege, it does add complexity and optionality to your life. Consequently, building a global life and career can trigger the feeling of being uprooted. It can feel harder to reconnect with your old self, your old home, your friends and family. The realities that excited you in the past suddenly feel superficial and unsatisfying. Subjects that matter to you might feel far-fetched for your social circles back home. Your common denominator of friendship and connection has changed. This is a natural phenomenon. Joint experiences, similar life phases, and challenges in life bind people together. If this joint base shifts, relationships shift as well. They might either evolve in the process to the next level or drift apart. We all have experienced this in one way or the other. The difference is that when choosing a lifestyle that is off the norm, the chances of your relationships back home fading away is higher than if you have stayed home. To manage the feeling of being uprooted, it is important to stay connected to your home culture and your loved ones back home. It will be forever part of you. Identity is like the roots of a blooming flower. If you cut the roots too short, it will eventually die. But if you ensure that the roots are cut at a sufficient length, you can blossom in any environment, provided you get sufficient nutrients. If you consider this global life by design, you must weigh the pros and cons and make a decision that fits your value system and priorities in life. Because every decision in life has consequences. If you say yes to one choice, you say consequently no to many other options. I believe our personality shapes our life values, which again influence the priorities we set in our lives. If you are a family-oriented person, you naturally value proximity to your loved ones over the excitement and adventure of moving to another country and the opportunities that arrive from that. Vice versa, if you have, colloquially speaking, ants in the pants, are full of ambition and eager to explore, staying in your comfort zone feel more like a prison than a cozy home. Most people naturally figure out their value systems and priorities, subsequently guiding their life choices. As I laid out in my previous video about life values, this is the right approach. Serious problems occur when you live a life that is not meant for you due to internal unclarity, external pressures, or a combination of both. If you tend to overthink like me, you can find comfort in the certainty of uncertainty in life. Occasional doubt and a certain level of grief and regret for the choices you make are not a sign of wrong choices, but natural parts of the process. For me personally, pursuing a global life and career is a net positive experience because it is in alignment with my personality, life values, and vision. But it comes at a cost. If the cost is worth it, you need to define for yourself. What I'm convinced of is that for 99.9% of people, moving abroad for the first time is an enriching experience. With this decision, many doors will open and the option to return home always remains open. Ending with a quote which beautifully summarizes the inevitable consequence of leaving one's home. It is a bittersweet thing knowing two cultures. Once you leave your birthplace, nothing ever remains the same. Sarah Turnbull, author of Almost French, Love and a New Life in Paris. If you live and work abroad, what are your experiences with shifting worldviews, belief systems, and changes in your identity? If not, do these potential shifts hold you back or motivate you to go abroad? Share your thoughts in the comments.